Former President George W. Bush is trying so hard to get back into polite society. And he is actually doing so. He is succeeding with the assistance of anti-Trump conservatives and cocktail circuit liberals, liberal celebrities specifically. So now, with their help, Bush has been working on this image of, golly gee whiz, I'm just a jolly old man. I just want to paint, and I'm gee willikers, have a beer with you. Did you know he just wants to paint pretty pictures, guys? I mean, that's all he wants to do, and is try to stay quiet and paint pretty pictures, and occasionally tweet about how Trump bad. So now, while mainstream media and liberal celebrities like Ellen fawn over this guy, the victims of his war crimes are not allowing him to be rehabilitated without a fight. So now, during an appearance at a swanky speaking circuit featuring so-called public intellectuals and celebrities, an anti-war activist had interrupted Bush's speech. It was awesome. I'm going to show you that. Take a look.
Okay. Sir, this is not the time. This is not the time for that, sir. Yes. No. No, it is disrespectful to the audience. Yeah. Yeah, no. There we go. That's okay. Here's the thing in America. The good news is, in other countries, the guy would end up in jail for yelling at a president. Yeah. Here he's allowed to express himself, and I want to apologize for...
He did not go on to apologize for killing 1 million innocent people. No. He wanted to apologize for, apparently, this interruption. How rude. Oh, I can't believe how rude these people are. Oh, my God. Well, when you're calling out my war crimes. Oh. So now, I want to give credit here. The person that was yelling is activist Jeb Sprague. So Sprague has a cousin, or it was in the military, and has suffered greatly as a result of being in the Iraq War. So now, I love that he's calling out Bush's war crimes. It's wonderful. One thing I also noticed, though, by the way, is the person who was hosting this. He's like, oh, how disrespectful are you? Stop being disrespectful to the audience. Interrupting George W. Bush. Oh, my God. He thinks it's more disrespectful to interrupt a former president war criminal than to tell people what Bush actually did when he was in office. Isn't that interesting how that seems to work out? It's almost as if they never cared about the million innocent Iraqis that died as a result of our war of aggression. Sir, you were being so disrespectful. How dare you ever question the great George W. Bush? I mean, he's not Trump after all. Oh, Trump worse. Oh. No, what was also interesting about this was George W. Bush's reaction, of course. The laugh. Notice the little uncomfortable laugh, like, oh. And then, of course, says, well, at least you got the freedom to say that in America. Did we, though? Sprague got kicked out and literally banned. Here's what he said on Twitter about it. He said, Speakers LA, who was hosting the event, told me that I am officially banned from ever attending any of their future events. What happened to free speech? Don't you believe in free speech? That was his free speech. Totally worth it, though, by the way. Well done. Well done by Sprague. Now, he's not the only one, of course. See, this is just one of several interruptions to George W. Bush from anti-war activists. The next one actually happened the night prior, which was when veteran Mike Prisner interrupted Bush. Here's that video. Take a look.
Mr. Bush, when are you going to apologize for the 1 million Iraqis that are dead because you lied? You lied about weapons of mass destruction. You lied about connections to 9/11. You lied about Iraq being a threat. You sent me to Iraq. You sent me to Iraq in 2003. My friends are dead. Joshua Castile. You killed tell people you lied. You lied about WMD. 1,000,000 Iraqis are dead because you lied. My friends are dead because you lied. You need to apologize. Apologize.
Now, Prisoner, by the way, is a co-host of the Empire Files, so definitely check that out. I can't love that enough, and I can't thank Sprague and Prisoner enough for doing this. It is important that we make sure to not rehabilitate war criminals. And that's what they've been trying to do. Understand that ever since, around Trump, here you had all these different celebrities and political figures that have been like, oh, buddy with George W. Bush, Michelle Obama. Oh, buddy with George W. Bush. Oh, he gave me some candy. Yeah, but he killed 1,000,000 innocent people, at least, through his actions. The war launched a horrific war on so-called terror, when in reality, we were the ones that were bringing the terror. A war criminal, one of the worst presidents we've had. I mean, when you look at terms of body count, easily surpasses Donald Trump. And Donald Trump himself was awful. But again, when it came to body count, the Bush wars surpassed it. And it was the wars that he started. So now let me give you some details about that, okay? So Nicholas Davies, along with Medea Benjamin, have estimated that as a result, 2.4 million people have been killed in Iraq as a result of our war, of our invasion. The report also details an estimate of 1.2 million people killed in Afghanistan and Pakistan, again, as a result of our war on terror. Again, who's doing the terror here? Who's doing the terror here? About 3,000 people, nearly 3,000 people died on 9/11, and that's a horrible tragedy. But the results, I mean, what we did as a result of that far surpasses that in terms of terror. Now, that's not even counting the violent deaths from military and CIA interventions in places like Libya, Syria, Somalia, Yemen, where we're continuing to do drone strikes. It's estimated, by the way, that around 250,000 Libyans have been killed in that war, violence, and chaos following the U.S. intervention back in 2011. They're open-air slave markets as a result. And by the way, a note on the numbers. These are estimates. They could actually be higher because we don't have a lot of great reporting and accurate death counts. And a lot of that has to do with mainstream media ignoring U.S. war crimes. And not only that, because let's be honest, U.S. corporate media is thirsty for war. They love war. They love doing nationalism and, banging the war drum and, grabbing that flag. And it's just, that's what they do. They're thirsty for war. Now, if you want the information about how Nicholas Davies gets to these numbers, I'm gonna put a link in the description here and direct you to Nicholas J.S. Davies' book, Blood on Our Hands, The American Invasion and Destruction of Iraq, and his 2018 articles about the death toll from our supposed war on terror, published by Consortium News. And again, that link will be in the description of this video. So now, bottom line, we should not be rehabilitating war criminals into polite society. They don't belong here. They don't belong there. Unfortunately, that is the current polite society, where we just kind of ignore the atrocities, and continue the American empire. If you are rich and powerful and a member of the elite, you're not going to give a damn about people in other countries who are suffering as a result of the comforts that we take advantage here at home. Especially if you're a Republican. Again, plenty of liberals also seem to have forgotten the horrible, atrocities committed in both Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, right now, look, Chelsea Manning, great example of somebody who exposed war crimes, how he killed innocent people, medical people, professionals, children, etc. Exposing these. And what do we do to them? We'll lock them up. We throw them in prison. Because, it's embarrassing. We don't want the American people to actually know what our military is doing on their behalf. But unfortunately, there's so many people in America, in this country, that don't actually care about what happens to people overseas. It's horrifying. But if you're a Republican, you don't really care that they're brown. If you're a mainstream liberal, out of sight, out of mind, you just don't think about it. And unfortunately, both sides feed the war machine. And so people that don't stand up against it, they feed the war machine. People that don't call out war criminals for what they are, feeding the war machine. And I hate to break it to you too, but all of our recent presidents have all been war criminals. Again, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. I know it's not very popular to point those things out, but they committed to those atrocities as well, to those numbers, by participating in this so-called war on terror. It didn't get a lot of attention, but Joe Biden's drone strike after the bombing of Kabul ended up killing 10 innocent people. 7 of them children. 1 of them was an aid worker. And the response was, oops, golly gee, got it wrong. Ho, no. Sorry. Oops. I guess we should do an investigation. Like an investigation is going to bring those people back. And not only this, but here's the thing, right? The drone program for years has been called out because of the amount of innocent people that are killed, that are mistaken for the enemy. They make it seem like, the drone warfare, the drone's very, very efficient, very good at finding out who the enemy is and who isn't. No, it's not. Actually terrible. Turns out, over the course of the war, it's estimated 47,000 Afghan civilians were killed, according to the Cost of War Project. And of course, that's between, normal, conventional military strikes, drone strikes, and airstrikes. And of course, you look at the different presidents. Under Trump, we had a massive bump of civilian casualties as a result of Trump loosening those rules, in which the military was like, great, we get to take the gloves off, just bomb whoever the hell we want, civilian or not. We don't really care. They're brown. But I do want to call out one more person here, Tulsi Gabbard. So on the issue of drone strikes, Tulsi Gabbard is not an anti-war person. Okay, she came out with a video just recently saying that, by the way, aloha, I have been gone, targeting dangerous Islamists. She supports war. Well, I should say the war on terror, drone strikes, and torture. But don't worry, it's against those Islamists, so it's okay. Brown people, hey, they're we'll go after them. No, you don't get to be anti-war and then claim drone strikes, which kill innocent people. You can't do that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Sorry. That's not how that works. So, overall, though, I want to thank Prisoner and Sprague for calling out George W. Bush, for really trying to get that anti-war sentiment back into the left, which has been missing for quite some time, and calling out these war criminals, and calling out the legacy of not only George W. Bush, but Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.